What's up guys, Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today to another World's Scrim VOD review, but today we are VOD reviewing Flancy. I haven't actually done like a direct VOD from Flancy's stream, I think this entire set so far, but I was looking for people who actually streamed these World's Scrims, pulled up his stream and saw, wait a minute, Flancy is streaming all of his games, and this guy has been playing a lot. If I just escape out here, you can see each one of these is a 1 hour chunk. That is a 7 hour block of Scrims plus solo queue. This guy has been practicing hard for the World Championships, which is pretty scary because if you guys don't really know anything about Flancy, he's one of the winningest TFT players of all time. I feel like league casters would always say like winningest, and I'm like, is that really a real word? But if it is, there you go. He is one of the best Chinese players of all time, guaranteed his world slot by winning one of the Chinese Cups. Just very, very consistent and almost always at the top of the ladder, and just beasting on people. Thank you for nudging my mic so far up, Daisy Cat. I really appreciate that. All right, let's look at Augment here. Caretakers, Build a Bud, or buried treasures. I don't know why I was thinking birthday present. This is also extra gold galaxy. This is Braum gold subscription. So that's something to keep in mind. For me, that would make me really interested in taking something like caretakers, because this guarantees that you're going to make it to 8 on a regular tempo with the extra gold from Braum. I really like taking this in gold galaxies. Makes me like something like Build a Bud a little bit less, because this is in some ways kind of an econ augment. And yeah, it does look like he's going to reroll that. We see Prismatic Ticket here. I don't think there are any like really broken one-cost reroll comps right now that you're really excited to take Pris Ticket into. It feels like the lower the cost to reroll, the better with this. It does look like, yeah, he's going to reroll that. And so he's looking at just the buried treasures here with a 4-item component opener. And it's never bad to take buried treasures at 2-1. It just means that you need to be playing a comp that is going to use a lot of items here. And we pick up what honestly looks like a crew opener here. We're going to power up Malphite. We could actually take this one, it's called Max Vitality, the one that gives you extra HP per round. Yeah, and we are going to grab that, the scaling max HP. And so we are looking at a crew game. We see someone else who has a crew opener. This does allow us to just slam the Spirit Visage, which is one of Malphite's best items. Just makes him so much tankier. And Malphite, you really want these kind of like pure tank items, stuff like Spirit Visage, Bramble Vest, obviously really good for just the fact that he really likes armor. You know, you can build some Amara from stuff like Gargoyle, but I think the stats really like something like, I mean, triple Bramble does well in the stats mostly because of the Bramble augment. But yeah, and we're also even gonna move Malphite back a little bit for the Max Vitality value. Max Vitality, if your unit survives, I think it's every 10 seconds in combat, you get extra HP. And so you want to obviously get to that 10-second threshold so that you get that extra HP. Also gonna slam the Guinzu's Rage Blade, I think. This is one of the best damage items in this comp. One of the really cool things about Guinzu's is that you can flex it between Severe and the Ziggs later. So you're kind of ideal late game carry in this comp is Ziggs. That's who you want to get to at the end of the game. And also Twisted Fate as well. Let's speed through this pause here with movie magic. Wow, it's actually a long pause. I don't know why they paused this long. I guess somebody had to get up and go to the bathroom or something, which upsides of playing on Tournament Realm, I guess, which is where all these scrims are being played. Yeah, this expected unexpectedness guy. I think we were like slightly afraid that they might play Sivir if it's the same guy that we saw before, or Crew, but totally fine now. I wouldn't slam an Even Shroud here, and yeah, he is also realizes that, you know, like we're not going to win this fight anyway. Means that we can't make 20 gold, which is a little bit tragic. Maybe we would have slammed if it had made us 20 gold, because that is a big, increase in gold value. I would just look at Chain here. I guess you could. Yeah, I mean, I think Chain makes perfect sense here. Just Malphite's single best component. Could be Gargoyle Slam here. Could be, you know, if we get another Chain out of the buried treasures here, a Bramble Vest, a lot of good stuff it can be. We get Sword here, which is kind of interesting because you could make IE, but you know, the idea behind Guinzu's and the idea behind itemization in this comp in general, I feel, is that you really like to slam items onto Sivir, you know, use her as your early game item carry. And yeah, we're not going to make IE, we're actually going to make the Stair Axe for frontline. I think this makes a lot of sense. Ideally, you want to, you know, get to Ziggs as your main late game carry. You want to get off of Sivir. It's really a Ziggs TF duo carry at the end of the game. And so making these items like IE that are, you know, really good on Sivir, but like just kind of okay onto TF, it actually makes a lot of sense to not go for that. And Stair Axe is in many ways just kind of another Warmugs type item where, you know, the more HP you have, the better. Once you get to certain HP thresholds, I forget what the exact number is. Someone probably has the exact math, but it's pretty high. I feel like it's in like the 3000s, where Sterak's, the shield actually becomes like more valuable than Warmugs itself. You know, it becomes a better tank item than Warmugs. And I mean, that's potentially what we're looking at here with the max vitality, a lot of extra HP. And yeah, I mean, just a good tank item in general. I feel like it was a while like during this set where we saw people just every chance they got going for Sterak's onto tanks. And I mean, it's a good way to get rid of the sword as well. If you aren't looking for stuff like the IE, like we talked about, we're looking for these more of like AP tank items. We do get Bramble here, which I feel like kind of has to be the slam, which makes the Sterak's a bit awkward, though it can sit on Shen for a while. All right, question to Flancy here is how much do you want to roll in this spot here? I would say to 50 seems, you know, almost definitely, you know, what we're gonna roll to here. But the question is, how much deeper do you roll after 50? Pick up the Janna, who is just a generically strong unit here. We're going to move all these items over so that we can get the Bramble down. Probably move the Sterak's over to Shen, and the other ones go into. Oh, actually, interesting enough. We're gonna do this and make Archangels. Looks like I think Archangels. I mean, it's a very good slam onto Ziggs. The only problem is you lose out on all these other really good rod items. You lose out on stuff like Morello. You lose out on stuff like even Deathcap, Gunblade. So yeah. I mean, certainly not going to be late game, probably not going to be Tiniest Titan. I mean, the dupes are fine. I think, you know, an Econ Augment here is pretty solid, just because we're actually lacking an Econ Augment in this spot. We have no Econ outside of the Econ from the portal that we're in here. Wow, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, he likes the Sterak's over the Spirit Visage onto Malphite. I mean, just another sign of, you know, how much people enjoy Sterak's on these frontline tanks. But okay, and he has like he will now make the Archangel slam. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Leaves the glove open for a very obvious either you know, like JG or even like TG down the line. That's the other thing to talk about in this comp, by the way, is, you know, we're playing this from a buried treasure start, and I think it's fantastic. This is a comp where you can use so many items because you're carrying Ziggs, you're carrying, well, you're tanking Malphite, you're carrying Twisted Fate down the line, you can duo tank the Shen, and, you know, I mean, you're gonna go for the Sivir 3 as well, who is oftentimes going to feel a little bit bad that she's not going to get the items, but in a spot like this, she actually could get the items. You can even play for Janna 3 and itemize her. You'll see people do. So, you know, that is like 6 units that you can happily itemize in this comp. It's a very, very item-hungry comp. And so I think it makes a lot of sense to just bury treasures into this. And normally you'd be a little bit afraid saying, okay, if you just take, you know, pure combat with no econ, you're kind of, you know, not sure that you're going to make it to what the cap of this comp is, which is hitting Ziggs and then hitting TF. If you find Ziggs 3 and TF, you feel really, really good. You can play for, you know, win out. If you can't find both of those, which requires a lot of econ, then you tend to feel quite bad. So it's either JG or TG as the slams here. We have to take tier here, so we're not going to slam anything. Like those are the only 2 real slammable items that we can make here. So we're going to take tier here for its static shiv component is the big thing. So Flancy on a 1-loss streak here, really not that worried about, you know, winning these next few fights. Would much rather just set up his later items better, and Shiv a fantastic item in this comp. Also, we're really close to Severe here, so we're thinking about rolling it down. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he rolled it as low as he did here, because he was not one off of Sivir or on the Malphite here, so we actually penalized our econ a little bit just to roll down here, which feels a bit bad, but should be fine econ-wise. We do win this fight, which is big, though it's not like rolling won us this fight. I guess we had Ziggs pair as well, which would be a big hit here. So that's the upside here. You can power up Ziggs, look at taking ramping. Oh, you didn't take ramping rage. You took the right one there, which is 30%. It's not, what is 30%? 30% ignore 30% MR or something like that? I don't know. Let's do a translate here while we play out the next fight. Because I'm actually trying to think. It just says 30%. That's the only thing. All right, here we go. Oh, it's just double strike. Okay, so you have a 30% chance to get that second attack. Great power up onto Ziggs. So in general, I think this makes a lot of sense. Ziggs is one of these kind of weird. He's an AP auto attack carry, and so, you know, double strike scaling up your autos is quite good. So yeah, makes a lot of sense onto the Ziggler here. But yeah, static shiv really good in this comp because the ship damage is magic and Ziggs' damage is magic, and a percentage of Twisted Fate's damage is magic. So the Amar Shred is kind of like the most important thing to hit. We could also, sorry, I wanted to pull my OBS back up because I have like OBS fear that I'll just like randomly stop recording halfway through the video. I mean, you can actually go for a Noxious Trap these days on a TF, so we'll see if, you know, I mean, it certainly seems like he wanted to make this ship here. All right, let's roll down here for at least Malphite 3 here, probably also Severe 3 here, and we hit both with a decent amount of gold left over, which is pretty nice. Means we don't have to roll too deep here. I mean, it could be the GS adaptive here. Yeah, he does really want the Shiv. The only problem with making Shiv is it leaves you with no secondary slam here. I guess you could make IE onto the Sivir if you wanted to. Honestly, I would be really tempted to just to get the item down here. But okay, we lose this fight here. We'll see what our last augment holds for us. Probably not overheal in this spot. Keepers doesn't sound great either. I guess I would look at best friends here just for the stats. I don't know. I don't love any of these that much. I don't really like biggest big friend. I just don't think it's that good. The rod one, I mean, seems fine. I like best friends here. The only downside is it's a little while until, I mean, actually now we're pushing 6 right here, so it's totally fine, and we can get this in here. Really looking to pick up some strategists to play on this board here, the 4-cost strats, kind of the bread and butter on level 6 and 7 that you need to find, and they're big spikes for the board. And we actually miss on either Rise or Yarvin here, which is pretty bad, especially because we are also carrying the Ziggs instead of the Sivir. So getting an extra, you know, a 3rd strategist in is really big for our board here. We certainly would have won this fight. Also, that's a Twisted Fate on the other side of the board, so that's 1 TF out of the pool that we cannot find, which is pretty tragic. So yeah, we're going to roll a little deeper here just to look for, I mean, the Shen, and we're actually very close now to the Ziggs, only 2 off with the extra dupes here. So we've hit pretty hard on the board here. I would say this is certainly ahead of schedule to have everything. We'll have all of these hit the Shen. This is, I mean, about average, honestly, on Shens. But the fact that we have 5 Ziggs here with the 2 dupes open, I feel like is pretty far ahead of schedule. The only downside is, ooh, these fights are close. Okay, we win. Nice. 8k damage from Ziggs. Just shows the power of this guy. Because, you know, I think a lot of people always think of this comp as a Sivir comp, but it really, the way you win games is by playing around Ziggs. All right, on Carousel here, I would just be, I mean, it's a Ziggs with a glove. I think you must take this, right? You make TG, and now we're 1 off Ziggs 3. I mean, this is fantastic here. The TG kind of has to go into Sivir, which is like whatever, but not bad. And I mean, you definitely roll down here to look for, I mean, we're 1 off Ziggs. We even have the free refresh from Crew. I am shocked that we're not rolling here. Wow. He's saying that this board's guaranteed strong enough that we don't even care about Ziggs 3 here, because we don't need to use the dupes. I mean, we rotate into this Viego 3 board, which is kind of crazy, by the way. Viego 3 board with the double artifact. And, oh, we get cleared. Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm shocked Flancy didn't want to roll in this spot here, just because 1 Ziggs is an immense spike here. He's still not going to use his free refreshes. His idea is, I guess, that he's going to push 7 and use those rolls on 7. And so he's gonna hold these rolls until 5-1, and then, you know, spend the gold to level here and then be 7, I guess, must be. And he just wants to guarantee as much, you know, chance of finding 4 costs on level 7 as possible. Wow, it's a little scary, but I mean, we'll go for it. We'll see here. Really would like to win this fight so that we don't take a ton of damage. Okay, and we do win, so really, really nice, actually. I mean, I think we got pretty rewarded for this greed. We're going to have a lot more gold than if we had rolled there. We're going to roll on 7 with better odds. We really need to find those 4 costs, like I said, those strategists. And the other kind of painful thing is we saw someone with a Twisted Fate 2, and then there's also, I think, a different player with a Twisted Fate 1. So that's 4 TFs out of the pool, which is a bit scary here. All right, let's look at items first, just because I want to, you know, think about what we should actually slam in this spot. We don't have armor shred, so you could look at something like Evan's Shroud here. I would really like to get to some kind of heal cut here via either red buff or Morello here. Probably best case is something like a Morello GS, and then I guess you have to make Quicksilver, and you just throw all those onto Twisted Fates. Is there something else? Like if you made red buff, you'd be making red buff, i.e. Even Shroud. I mean, I guess I don't hate it. Red buff, i.e. Even Shroud. Like, if you had the option to make Morello, I think I would just go the Morello GS route, but we'll see what Flancy wants to go for here. I do feel like, I mean, maybe there's a world where he skips heal cut. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't. Picks up Rise here. Still looking for our last Ziggs and for our Yarvin here. Getting a little bit close here, but we do find the Ziggs. Double dupe, double dupe. Okay, we get it down, and we do get the red buff, which means that we are probably going to have to make, what was I saying? We're going to have to make, oh yeah, he ends up being QSS plus Sterax here. Okay, so we opted out of the Even Shroud, right? Yeah, had the option to make Even Shroud, i.e. and opted into actually QSS Sterax here. So just another spot where we're making the Sterax onto tanks, and QSS, I mean, it's a decent enough backline item that's going to move to the TF later. But okay, made it to Ziggs 3. No longer actually rolling on 7 because, I mean, once again, we've made it Ziggs 3. So we're looking at really saving these rerolls up and once again pushing level 8 and then digging for our cap, which is still the Jarvan. And I mean, the Bastion to our board is not bad. Ooh, this positioning was kind of scary, though. At least our Ziggs is living a really long time. Maybe we can get to the Darius in time. No, this looks horrible. Wow. We got cleared by Tardoman here, who doesn't even have Kaisa, by the way. Is one off Kaisa 3. Yeah, we got cleared. That's a little scary for us. But, oh, wow. The very aggro level 8 here finds Rise 2, but don't you just roll past it? No, he doesn't. We are actually just going to make Rise 2 here. I mean, I'm really shocked that we made Rise 2. This guy is like the most synergy bot of all time. Feels like just a straight up mistake to me. I don't think this Rise unit's going to do anything here, but we'll see here. I mean, an upgrade's an upgrade at the end of the day. Maybe that extra slight amount of damage we have. I mean, if we have a really close fight, maybe it's the diff. I mean, the only reason to make this is just to be as strong as possible and say, it's a really close game. We're 30 HP. Maybe Rise 2 versus Rise 1 is the difference between like killing one unit, which could be the difference between winning or losing a fight. Bramble Vest here could honestly be for the Malphite and then just move over. He's kind of looking to see how AD heavy this lobby is because like Loki, you could move Gargoyle over, but I think he's, yeah, I mean, I think this makes perfect sense. Just move the Gargoyle over. The lobby's AD heavy enough. There's a lot of like Twisted Fates and other kind of like fast 9 boards. We find Jarvan here, boom, comes in immediately. Got to, yeah, get the positioning down for it, and we do. So this looks great here, and we have the double Bramble onto Malphite, which, like I said, is kind of, the stats say like triple Bramble is Biss, but it's mostly from the Bramble Augment. But Bramble is a really good item on Malphite. So, and we clear, I thought I saw it being Gobo. Yeah, it is Gobo, okay. But I thought Gobo was a different player. But in any case, pick up the dub, and top 4 essentially guaranteed at this point. Do find a Zyra here. We could play that over Bastion. It looks like he just prefers the Bastion on this board. I mean, it's a Bastion onto his Shen 3, and it's Bastion onto our entire board, and like the Zyra is really not going to do all that much, especially with no items. So I think this makes sense. We are getting our Malphite Brommed here, which is a tad bit scary here, though. Looks like he's still holding, or actually Shen held the line and held aggro here. This is such a close fight. Oh my god, the plant almost got us, but we beat Dewa here. That basically guarantees like a top 3. And yeah, he's looking at this board saying, hey, sell your TFs, buddy. I mean, he's hoping, you know, if Dewa can lose to somebody else, that we can pick up those TFs once they go back into the pool. And maybe we can. There's also, you know, Braum on that board as well, which is another unit that we want. So we kind of need everything that guy's got going on here. We're still level 8 here. I mean, I imagine we're just going to greed 9 since we're this healthy. No, he's going to roll a little here. Yeah, he rolls twice and then says, what's the point? He's looking at Edge of Night here. QSS Edge of Night red buff for our TF fight. Oh, he's going to Edge of Night the Ziggs here and then move. Oh, wait, this is kind of genius. I love this. Move the util item over to the Janna, which will eventually be the TF, but, you know, Janna spreads it decently as well. We get Edge of Night onto our backline carry, who also has double scaling items, which means, you know, that extra survivability is really, really important. I mean, look how close that fight was. We were very, very close from winning there, and I think kind of an Edge of Night, almost diff in a good way. Now we kind of are forced to roll, which is really tragic. After losing that fight, we're saying, we're 17 HP at stage 6. We could very easily die. So going to use that dupe onto, where did we get that dupe from? I guess that was from minions. I don't remember us getting that dupe. What the heck? Okay, but in any case, we dupe our Jarvan and we have a Jarvan too. Rotate into an Edgelord's board with a 2-star Yone here, though looking pretty good. The Malphite, the Bramble Vest doing insane work versus this very heavy AD board. And Tardoman down here, we beat double. This could be a first, honestly. If you know the game continues going as it has. I mean, we won that last fight. We're opting not to roll here because what's there to roll for at this point? The only thing you can hit here is a random TF on level 8, which is unlikely to happen. So yeah, we keep the Rise, make sure the Rise is same side as the Ziggs to make sure he's heal cutting and treading what we got going on here. The other gets to backlane for a second and then we just blow him up, which is really nice. I mean, KC double takes another loss here. I mean, we are rapidly approaching potentially a win. I mean, this is the power of Crew. We didn't even make it to TF, by the way, but just the power of, you know, playing around that Ziggs, hitting Ziggs 3, getting all of these units itemized, which is just so big here. Yeah, I mean, he's considering actually rolling here because, like, there's no real way that we make it to minions. So he's kind of saying, like, we kind of just must roll, though he opts to not roll here. I mean, he's 17 HP. Odds of us dying are pretty low. We'd have to get 5-0'd. It's not impossible, though. It's really, I'm scared here, you know, but I would certainly roll here. But looks like he's not going to roll, and I think he is going to be just fine here. Take the win, and is a dub for Flancy on the Crew. I think this is a beautiful game to show how to play around the Crew. You know, great power-ups all across the board, great items across the board. Just a fantastic game, and a game for Flancy, who hopefully won't win the next World Championships because NA needs to win it, but if a Chinese player has to win it, I mean, I would say Flancy would be pretty cool. All right, thank you guys for watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe, Twitch, Medify. Sign-ups for Project Mentor. I put in my description yesterday. They are open now. If you guys haven't signed up yet and you guys are interested, I don't know how many people. Like I said, my signups are very limited. So go sign up now if you haven't already, because they will probably. I'm taking a very limited amount of people into consideration. So if you want to be under me for Project Mentor, I would say go sign up ASAP. All right, see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Bye-bye.